Well, good morning to you and the viewers at home, Naledi. Indeed, we are at the Avalon Cemetery where they're going to be commemorating the life of their former General Secretary, Joe Slovo. Of course, these annual commemorations always take place in a time where they reflect, as the alliance partner, on the challenges facing the country. This is quite an opportune time because we have been highlighting the social and economic challenges faced by South Africans across the country. And we can expect that in the keynote address, they'll be looking at some of Slovo's values and how the life of South Africans can be bettered going forward. But to elaborate further on the SACP as well as the reflection of Slovo's life, I'm joined by the National Chair, Dr. Blade Nzimande, who will be joining the commemoration today. We understand you were also here yesterday to give a bit of an address and a reflection on where we are as a country. As we understand, Mr. Slovo was actually instrumental in where the country is today, reflecting on some of those values and the quality of life in South Africa. What is the progress we've made or not made with respect to achieving some of those goals?
Thank you very much. It's an important day for us, of course, as the SACP 28th anniversary of the passing away of Comrade Joe Slovo, and we are very proud that as the party for most of these 28 years we've been coming here to make sure that the life and example of Joe Slovo is never forgotten by our country. Indeed, we've made a lot of progress as a country since 1994. On education, we've expanded education. Despite the problems with Eskom today, we must never forget Eskom has electrified this country, including in the deepest of the rural areas, provision of water and other basic services. But nevertheless, as we meet now, the country is in deep crisis, and we need to face that and accept it. Our economy, the rate of unemployment is at its highest ever since 1994, with youth unemployment hovering around 60%. We are also now having a new challenge over the past 5-8 years, that of load shedding, the energy crisis, and the cost of living has never been this high. So today, as we reflect, which I'm sure our General Secretary will expand, is on the role of the South African Communist Party in tackling these challenges. Also because, you know, when a country faces such challenges, we also start seeing very backward and regressive tendencies that are emerging. Tribalism, provincialism, opportunism, populism, promising people things that you know will never happen just because you want to tell people what they want to hear. Disloyalty and dishonesty in politics and politics of betrayal. All these things are challenges that are facing us, because if we allow those, they are fueled by this socio-economic crisis. If we allow those to happen, our movement broadly, which includes, of course, our alliance, will falter at a time when we need a much more united alliance that should act with purpose. For us as the SACP, we must continue playing our vanguard role, not by claiming it, but by being with the people where they are. We're at Avalon Cemetery, which is the cemetery of the single largest township in South Africa, which is Soweto. Soweto has gotten worse, if we are to be honest. You know, if you look at most of our townships, rural areas, they are dirty, they are full of potholes, unemployment has rocketed sky high. It's time for us, as we remember Joe Slovo as the SACP, to say we must come even closer to our people and work with our people to do things that we can't do, which we should be doing, like closing potholes, you know. I don't know, what is it that is difficult in ensuring clean communities, you know. Public works becomes important right now. One example we can give you, if you go to our major cities, all your stormwater drainages are blocked by plastic and other forms of dirt. Hundreds of thousands of jobs can be created just by cleaning those and also building infrastructure that is climate resilient. So we commit ourselves to work with our people to realize some of these things and a better life for all.
Speaking of the SACP's role in creating a better life for all, you don't act in isolation, you do work in an alliance.
Yes.
Are these goals still possible to achieve as you stand right now following this conference that has just passed? Do you think as the SACP that you need to distance yourself from the alliance, or are you able to achieve your goals in collaboration with your partners?
As the SACP, we have always been committed to an alliance. But we are saying the manner in which this alliance has been operating over the past 90 years needs to be re-elected. That's why we are talking about reconfiguration. We have raised this matter with COSATU, with the ANC. We have all agreed we must address this matter. We are concerned the ANC is moving very slowly in addressing this matter. And if we don't address this matter, we can't go to 2024, the year of the election. If we don't address the matter of the reconfiguration of the alliance and the challenge of uniting ourselves, and especially unite the alliance around a common economic program. This is the single biggest challenge we face in our country, is our economy. So it's very important that the alliance acts that way. We are committed to that as the SACP. Unfortunately then, if the ANC doesn't want to address that, we are all in trouble. As the SACP though, we are also going to go in our own right, on our own, to reach out to our communities in a big way, to begin to even realize our resolution that we adopted at our 15th Congress, to build a socialist movement. We feel it is time we build a powerful socialist movement to shift the balance of power in society towards workers and the poor and the ordinary people, away from the elite and the rich and those who are well off. We are not going to take South Africa forward unless we prioritize the interests of the majority of our people. That's why Joe Slovo still becomes important for us, because he set an example for all of us. Was a white South African who could have just decided to benefit from what apartheid was providing, but he said, no, my life and the priority for the country is to change the conditions of the majority of our people.
And what would you think that Slovo would make of the current state of the nation and the current state of the alliance, which appears to be in strife leading up to the conference and its conclusion?
He would be unhappy about it, there's no doubt about that, but he would not sit back and celebrate that and say, things are bad, it's fine. He would have actually stood up and be in the forefront and say, what do we need to do to correct the things that are actually going wrong? As the SACP, we committed ourselves to our Congress. It's time for us now, we've said as the SACP, to continue doing what we've done before, even more. If the townships are dirty, communists must be out there and call to account our own ANC councillors to do the work that they are actually supposed to do, and not to actually have these things that are happening which are not being done, which are supposed to be done. So those are the kinds of things that Joe Slovo would be understanding, that we should be out there together with our people, seeking to unite the alliance, but unite the alliance not around possessions, unite the alliance about creating a better life for all. A very powerful slogan of the ANC, by the way, that has united the alliance thus far. But unless, as I say, we change the way we work as an alliance to deepen our unity, we will be in trouble. We won't be able to deal with these huge challenges that we are facing now.
Dr. Nzimande, you keep speaking of uniting the alliance, and we know that the General Secretary has spoken openly and intimated about the SACP taking its own route ahead of 2024. I mean, how do you reconcile those two?
There is no contradiction, because we as a political party of the working class, we have a right to discuss and engage on how we see the way forward, including electoral options. We've been discussing this as the SACP. We are not ashamed of it, we should. We've said so far we would like to contest elections as part of the alliance. But if things are not conducive to that, the SACP will be forced to actually not contest on its own, but to unite with other broader progressive forces to actually contest elections. That's not our first choice. Our first choice is to unite ourselves. But we can't just sit and see things going wrong and say we must not be discussing all options. All options now are up for discussion, to be quite honest.
All right, thank you so much. That was Dr. Nzimande speaking to us ahead of the commemoration of Joe Slovo's life here at the Avalon Cemetery. Naledi, I'm going to ask my colleague, Mr. Siya Mhlongo, to show you just a bit of the scene here at the cemetery as they prepare to start the event at 11 a.m. Quite a few members of the SACP have arrived. We see some leaders such as Mr. Mamabolo there as well. We understand Mr. Sali Mapaila has also arrived. Dr. Blade Zamande has just spoken to us. And then, of course, at the back of the cemetery, there are several community members that have showed up to commemorate the life of Slovo. As I've stated, the event will start at 11 a.m. and you can expect a keynote address from Mr. Mapaila, where they will be reflecting on a number of things, including the state of their nation amid high levels of crime, poverty, inequality, hunger, etc. Over to you in studio, Naledi.